have never left an interaction with Claudia feeling worse. Claudia Castroluna.
Good evening, everyone. Buenas noches. Before we start, let me say that I am a Central American woman, rather short, with curly hair and wearing a velour top, which seemed fitting for the spectacle of tonight. It is a huge pleasure for me to be here tonight with Xinyi at Hugo House and as part of a Bushwick Book Club program. I adore Bushwick Book Club. If you've never been, or if you're listening or watching for the first time, you're in for a treat. It's really a treasure. What they do is really a treasure and a huge a gift to our city. So I'll be reading from Killing Marías tonight, which Pepe so eloquently introduced. Thank you, Pepe. It's not an easy read, this book. It takes the names which I found on a list on a website that's dedicated to the missing and murdered women of Juárez, of which there have been thousands of them. And it struck me reading the list that many of the names of these women started with Maria. And as we know, Maria is the name of Jesus' mother. She's an icon. She's venerated all over the world. And these women wore her name. That was their first name, was Maria. And so very intuitively, I decided to begin writing poems, elegiac poems, to each one of the women whom I found on this list. And that's how the book came about. The book has had a very interesting trajectory in that I've staged performances of the book. We've read the entire book here in Seattle with musicians. And at one of those performances, 2 Seattle Times reporters were present. And they came to me afterwards and they said, can they use the book for a project they wanted to do on the US-Mexico border? And so the book became an anchor and sort of a lead into this project, which they reported on with the Pulitzer Center. It was in conjunction with the Pulitzer Center. And they were digital reporters. They put together a documentary, very beautiful, in which they spliced the poems and some of the mothers of the women and young women killed reading the poems, which I had translated to Spanish. And it ended up winning an Emmy. And so it is the first and only Emmy that the Seattle Times has ever won, has been the work of these 2 amazing reporters who used Killing Marías, the book, as a way of holding together their journalistic inquiry. So I will read 4 poems. You will hear me call each of the titles of the poems bear the actual names of the women to whom I'm dedicating the poem, and in the back of the book, I actually list the names. But for the poetry, I used only their first name and spliced a poetic phrase as their last name as a way of blending flesh and spirit, because these women are no longer with us, and really I'm trying in this work to give them agency. And so that was a way of working their bodies into the telling. Let's see, what else did I want to say about the work? Yeah, I think that's enough. So I'm just reading 4 of the poems. Are very short, and that's why we've been able to stage the whole book in one reading. The full title of the book is Killing Marías, a book for multiple voices. So when we've read it with different women reading different poems. And tonight I am so excited and honored to hear what the musicians have created as a result of reading the book. It's such an amazing honor to have that done with your work. So this first poem is called Maria Cristina, Hanging Chrysalis. What would I do for a smidgen of your rebellion, Maria, as a woman to trust the halo of your intuition? I know, you know, courage plummets easily from cliffs of doubt, both imposed and self-harvested. How to make manifest what the mind knows, but the eye cannot yet see? How to pluck hope from the terrace gardens where it grows? I think about the nature of change, that transfiguration from grain to woman, the audacity of salt to embolden water into ocean, the urge to break free. And this next poem is titled Maria del Rosario, Merciful Virgin. Love me not. Love me not. Ah, Margarita, dear Daisy, what is it that people we love and need so often destroy us? So one of the things I'm trying to do in these poems, because these women no longer have agency of their own, is really to voice them and to really anchor the poems in beautiful phrasing. Beauty was my way out of the hardship and the pain that is contained in the histories of these women's lives, because their deaths are so tragic and unspeakable. It's very hard to write work that is engaging and where the reader could read and face and be in that truth and not be put off or not turn away, not look away. I don't want you to look away. These women lived. This is real. This is truth, right? What happened here and what continues to happen. And so this idea of anchoring the poems in the most beautiful language I could was my way to weave through this very difficult material. Maria Rosario, clearest of nights. How to make up with yourself after each self-breakup. How to cuddle under a broken wing the girl of you. Or how to explain that deep inside the sea, sister wind tries on her dress. Snails leave their homes when no one is looking, and birds sometimes are afraid to fly. Who is going to tell you what you only know? Whose fool will tell spider to spin less? It turns out that it is possible to mend the crevices inside yourself without silk threads and silver spoons. It is possible to tell the truth and not burn in hell, to win wars without shooting a rifle, and without a rifle to write a poem. And the very last poem that I'll read is titled Maria Santos' Sweetest Apple. They say we live on either side of a border. I say that's fodder for a sexist imagination. Coyote's tooth does not alone bite, and falcon's feather takes not alone to the sky. Silo living is not for living things, like the braid on my abuela's back and beads on a rosary strand. Interlinked, we are rain, dust, stars. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Claudia.